Over 40, your watch isn't jewelry, it's testimony. Every glance tells a room whether you understand quality or just chase logos. Most men never learn the difference until it's too late, until the wrong watch has already made the wrong impression in a boardroom or across a negotiating table. Today, we're counting down the 5 watches quietly wrecking your credibility, and the 5 that instantly earn respect the moment they catch the light. Number 5 on the worst list is the Ice-It-Out diamond bezel watch. Every stone screams for attention, and that's exactly the problem. A wrist covered in visible diamonds doesn't say wealth, it says insecurity about whether people will notice you without them. Real collectors know the actual expensive move is restraint, a clean dial that doesn't need decoration to prove its price. Think about the psychology here for a second. A genuinely wealthy man rarely needs to advertise it in flashing stones because his bank account has already done the talking long before the watch shows up. The diamond bezel watch is the loudest way to whisper that you're compensating for something. And at this price point, most of those stones are cubic zirconia set in base metal anyway, not the real thing. That means you're not even buying the flash you think you're buying. You're paying full price for pure theater. And the worst part is the maintenance cost. Prongs loosen, stones fall out, and replacing them at a jeweler costs more over 5 years than the watch was worth on day 1. Confidence rarely needs backup, but this next mistake tries to buy it anyway. Number 4 is the novelty character watch. Mickey Mouse dials, cartoon hands, licensed branding stamped across the face. Sure, it's a fun conversation piece at 25. At 45, wearing one to a client meeting sends a message you didn't intend, that you never updated how you present yourself as you aged. Nostalgia has its place. Your wrist during business hours, isn't it? The deeper issue is that these watches are almost always quartz movements inside a licensed shell, meaning the actual mechanical value is close to nothing. And the resale value collapses the moment the cartoon goes out of fashion. Wearing one past a certain age doesn't read as playful anymore. It reads as a man who stopped paying attention to how the world sees him, and in a professional setting, that perception spreads faster than you'd expect. Clients remember details like this longer than you think, and they quietly file it away the next time a decision comes down to trust. Speaking of things that don't age well, here's a mistake dressed up in fake sophistication. Number 3 is the fashion smartwatch hybrid. The kind with a touchscreen face painted to look mechanical, complete with fake subdials that don't move. It's the digital cousin of the plastic chronograph, promising complexity it doesn't have. Anyone who picks it up and feels the hollow plastic case knows immediately. It's a watch pretending to be a watch, and that pretense reads louder than any real complication ever could. The irony is that a real smartwatch, worn honestly for what it is, earns more respect than this hybrid ever will. At least an Apple Watch admits what it is. This hybrid tries to borrow the visual language of serious watchmaking without any of the engineering behind it, and people who know watches can spot the difference from across a room in under 2 seconds. It's the watch equivalent of wearing a costume to a job interview and hoping nobody asks a follow-up question. If pretending is bad, showing off the machinery inside might be worse. Number 2 is the oversized skeleton watch with exposed gears spinning behind a cutout dial. It looks impressive in a store display under bright lighting. On a wrist under a dress shirt cuff, it becomes a magnet for the wrong kind of attention. Gaudy, mechanical for the sake of mechanical, all spectacle with none of the restraint that actually signals taste. Watchmaking should whisper competence. This one shouts for approval. Skeleton watches at the high end, from brands with genuine haute horlogerie pedigree, can be extraordinary, but the mass market versions flooding department stores and online marketplaces are usually built on generic movements dressed up with cosmetic cutouts, chasing the appearance of complexity rather than actually delivering it. The result is a watch that photographs well and wears poorly, both physically and socially. Durability suffers too. Exposed components collect dust and lint faster than a closed case ever would, and servicing costs climb the moment something inside actually needs attention. And now, the single worst mistake a man over 40 can make with his money. Number 1 on the worst list is chasing hype releases at inflated gray market prices. Paying triple retail for a watch because a resale account said it was hot this month isn't collecting, it's gambling with your bank account. These prices crash the moment the hype cycle moves on, and history proves it every single time. You end up holding a depreciating asset you bought purely because everyone else wanted it too. That's not taste, that's fear of missing out with extra zeros attached. The data across the watch market tells the same story over and over. Colorway variants and limited releases spike hard when scarcity is manufactured, then correct just as hard within a few years once the initial hype fades and supply quietly catches up. Men over 40 have less time to recover from that kind of loss than they did at 25, and yet they keep making the same impulsive mistake, mistaking social media buzz for genuine long-term value. The men who actually build real collections over decades almost never chase the hottest release of the month. They wait, they compare, and they buy what still makes sense 5 years later. That's the 5 worst. Now let's flip the entire conversation. Number 5 on the best list is the Tudor Black Bay 36. It's proof that smaller cases are making a real comeback among men who actually understand proportion. The in-house movement, the vintage-inspired dial, the price point that doesn't require justifying to your accountant, all of it adds up to a watch that looks intentional rather than accidental. It sits quietly under a cuff and reappears exactly when you want it to. Tudor built its reputation as Rolex's sister brand for decades, using shared expertise and manufacturing standards while staying more accessible in price. The Black Bay 36 takes that heritage and applies it to a size that actually fits the average wrist properly, rather than chasing the oversized trend that dominated the last 2 decades of sports watch design. It's a watch that ages gracefully with you instead of looking like a relic of a passing fashion moment. Quiet confidence like that tends to compound, and the next watch proves it. Number 4 is the Longines Spirit. Aviation heritage, a clean legible dial, chronometer-certified movement, and a price that undercuts watches half as capable by thousands of dollars. It's the definition of buying substance over branding. Nobody at that dinner table will recognize the logo instantly, and that's exactly why the ones who do know watches will respect you more for wearing it. Longines has quietly built one of the strongest value propositions in Swiss watchmaking, offering COSC, certified accuracy and genuine in-house movements at a fraction of what comparable Swiss competitors charge for similar performance. It's a watch built for men who care more about what's inside the case than what's stamped on the dial. That's a rare kind of confidence, buying quality nobody will clap for. Recognition isn't the goal here, craftsmanship is, and this next piece has decades of it behind the name. Number 3 is the Omega Speedmaster. The same watch that went to the moon, still produced with essentially the same hand-wound manual movement that NASA trusted for actual space missions. It's rugged without being oversized, historically significant without needing to explain itself, and it works with a suit just as easily as it works with a flight jacket. Few watches carry that kind of dual identity convincingly. The Speedmaster has done it for over 60 years. Every Apollo astronaut who walked on the lunar surface wore one, and Omega has changed remarkably little about the core design since, because there was simply nothing left to improve on a watch that already proved itself in the harshest environment humanity has ever tested equipment in. That's not marketing spin. That's a watch that literally passed the ultimate stress test and never needed a redesign. History earns respect, but craftsmanship this refined earns something closer to reverence. Number 2 is the Patek Philippe Calatrava. Thin, understated, almost deliberately boring at first glance, and that's precisely the genius of it. Patek built its entire reputation on watches that never shout, because the people who can genuinely afford one never needed to. The hand-finished movement inside is worth more than most entire watch collections combined. It's a watch built for men who've stopped needing anyone's approval. Every angle on the case is polished by hand, every screw head aligned by eye. A level of finishing that mass production simply cannot replicate at any price point below the very top of the Swiss hierarchy. Owning one signals that you understand the difference between expensive and valuable, and that distinction matters more the older you get. It's the kind of watch that gets passed down instead of traded in. And now, the single best move a man over 40 can make with his wrist. Number 1 on the best list is the Rolex Explorer, either the 36 or the 40mm, black dial, no date window, just clean Arabic numerals against a matte black face. It's the watch Everest expedition teams actually wore, built for function first, decoration, never. It works under a cuff at a business dinner and works just as well on a weekend hike. No diamonds, no hype pricing, no cartoon dials, just proportion, history, and mechanical honesty done exactly right. The Explorer has stayed remarkably consistent in design language since the 1950s, resisting the urge to chase trends the way so many other sports watches have over the decades. That consistency is exactly why it still looks correct on a wrist in 2026, and will likely still look correct in another 50 years. If there's one watch that proves substance always outperforms spectacle, this is it. Like and subscribe for more.